Okay, come with me, please, to Psalms 125, verse 1. 125, verse 1. This is good news tonight. I'm going to start reading because I'm fighting the clock a little bit. Verse 1, those that trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, the mountain of God, the city of God, which cannot be moved but abides forever. Okay, the next bullet point I've written there is that you become unshakable. I've met so many great Christians that literally, even in leadership teams, and man, they can preach the house down, and man, they're out on the street evangelizing, and they know scriptures, and then disaster comes, and their whole life falls apart. You know why? It's because their trust was never in God. It was their presentation of how they could show themselves to be a great Christian. I've seen it so many times. Right, Molly? We've watched this so many times. Jeff's seen, I know many, I'm not trying to say that certain people haven't seen this. I'm just trying to get, I've lived life with these guys now a little bit. I've watched people that look like, man, that person is just a powerhouse in God. And they're the person that everyone's like, whoa, when I grow up, I want to be like that. And then disaster comes, and it's like their whole house just falls down in front of you. But listen, if you put your trust in God, not in your bank account, not in your skills, not in all your, jucking and jiving, and not in your gift or your worship gift, whatever that looks like. If you put your trust in the Lord, you become like Mount Zion. This is a mathematical, spiritual equation. If I do this, God will make me unmovable. That doesn't mean that you won't feel it. That doesn't mean that you won't experience, oh man, I'm in the shadow of death right now, the valley of the shadow of death. But you actually won't be shaken. Because when disaster comes and calamity comes, it's not that you won't feel it. The Bible says that stuff falls on the wicked and the righteous. Okay? This stuff happens, guys. The problem is that we have, like I said earlier, we have an equation that if this happens, it means somehow I've fallen out of favor with God. It's not true. Otherwise, Job would have been the worst Satanist you've ever met in your life. It's true. If that was, and we build like a spiritual explanation. Yes, if you do certain things, God does bless you. But that doesn't mean that you will never walk through hardship. Okay? Okay, so if you put your trust in the Lord, those that put their trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. It doesn't say it won't be have shakings. It just says it won't be moved. You've got to read it right. It doesn't mean that the devil's not going to come and try and shake every corner of your house. It just means you won't be moved. Doesn't mean that some of the stuff might shake off the walls in the process, but you know what? Having done all, you're going to still stand. Does this make sense? Okay, so that bullet point was that you'll become unshakable. Now, can I say this? This is a process. Some of us are growing. We're all growing. And so in certain areas, it might feel like you're weak and broken. That's fine. Just get this and understand that this is where you're going. Okay, and you need to sow into this until your mind changes. Stop making excuses for how you've always been, because no one wants to be the little shrub in the desert that's got no substance. Do you know what I use those little shrubs for? I use them for starting fires, because that's all they're good for. They're dried up, they're tinder. Okay, but a good tree, you're going to make good fruit. And I want to sit under that tree and watch the river go by and listen to it, drink fresh water, and eat some fruit from that tree. It's real easy. When you get around someone, it's like the fruit from their life, just even in conversation, will bless you. But if you get around a tree that, I'm not calling you a bad tree, Whitney, okay? I just want to preface everything I'm about to say right now. But if you get around something that actually is just this dried old shrub and you try and eat a stick, I'm going to guarantee you right now, you're going to cut the roof of your mouth. You're going to try and bite on that little stick and somebody's going to scratch your mouth. Okay? You only get messed up if you try and feed from that kind of person. Because they'll try and get their trust in you and try and take something from you that you were never supposed to give them, because they're not trusting God. So that's why we always want to have people to rescue us. How come the pastor didn't do this for me? How come? It's like, just shut up and trust God. Honestly, It's not that we don't care. We do care, but we can't give you what you're asking. You can only get that from God. My job is a shepherd, not God. I can never do that. God can only do that for you. My job's to be a shepherd. Amen. Okay. The problem is that, well, he's not da-da-da, or she's not da-da-da. It's like, yeah, that's because that's not our job description. Sorry. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Psalms 25, please. Come with me to Psalms 25. I'm just going to start reading because I'm almost over time. But I got some more to give. So, Psalms 25, verse 1. In you, Lord my God, I put my trust. In you, Lord my God, I put my trust, Nicole. This is awesome. Next bullet point. Trust in God is a decision. It's not a culture. Trust in God is a decision. You know, like I was just explaining to you, I found out some crazy news, and guess what? In the future of my life, I'm going to find out more crazy news. And in those moments, I have to look at God, and it's like I'm looking at an army coming at me with aggression across the battlefield, and I just have to whisper to God, I trust you, God. I trust you, God. You're my God. I trust you. And I'm making a decision in that moment to put more trust and stock in who God is than the giant screaming at me from the other side of the field. Do you understand what I'm saying? Trust in God is a decision, and it's not a one-time decision. It's got to be an everyday decision. Okay, verse 2. I trust in you. Do not let me be put to shame, nor let my enemies triumph over me. I love that Jeff was singing about he prepares a table for me in the midst of my enemy. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Don't let my enemies triumph over me, God. Okay, protection. Trust begins to invoke God's protection. God can't protect a person who doesn't trust him but trusts themselves. When you trust yourself, you actually will not let God help you. It's not that God doesn't want to help you, it's that you've made yourself your own God. You have become your own source, and because of that, God is now paralyzed to help you. It's a scary thought, because God can do anything except the stuff you don't give him permission for. Okay. So protection is the next one. Verse 3. Now I love this one. Verse 3. No one, say this with me, no one who hopes in you will ever be put to shame. So the next bullet point is that you will have no shame. This is awesome. Can I tell you that when you decide to trust God, something begins to happen where you cross a line, and no matter what news you find out, you need to stop putting your trust in what has been told you, and you need to stay in a place where you know that you will not be put to shame.